Hello, everyone. Welcome to Midweek here at Salem First Baptist Church, where we just are going to try and connect you to the life of our church and some of the things happening. If you've come down recently and been around, one of the things you're going to notice is all around the church, the landscaping is getting redone. I don't normally think of landscaping done in February because I think of snowstorms like we're getting this weekend. But these guys are amazing, and they have a vision for all of the landscape out on Marion Street and Liberty being redone, and they're digging stuff up and playing with big tractors and all kinds of good stuff. So it's incredible. Stop by. If you haven't been out for a while, take a drive, grab some coffee, and make it a really fun time. Also, you're going to see some changes over at North Block. Some of the construction guys are moving out. Like, for example, now on every weekend, the young adults use one of the rooms over there in what we call the 5 bay. And we're looking at some other things, again, trying to vision for the future. So you'll see some changes that occur over there in terms of some meeting groups that are going to be happening. So it's going to be good. I have a principle, it's probably one that you've experienced, and it is this: if left alone, things don't remain the same. Have you ever discovered that principle? I found that principle this week in a whole new way. Through some things, my mom's car is in the garage, and she hadn't been driving it because she had some cataract surgery and everything went really well and good stuff happened. And so she went out and took it for a little drive down to get the mail, and all kinds of lights came up on her dashboard. And it was basically kind of like, do not drive me, I'm unsafe. Wow, I mean, she's only got a 3-4-year-old car. So it was like, wow, that's strange. Oh, we took it down to the Toyota dealer and we found out. If left alone, things don't remain the same. Why? Well, there's a rat that got in there and decided to have a Thanksgiving meal on a whole bunch of wires. Oh, it was so frustrating until, I guess misery loves company, because I was talking with the gentleman and he told me, he said, Mark, we have seen more cars this year than ever kind of getting chewed up. And I said, well, why this year? Do we have a rat infestation? He goes, no. People aren't driving as much. Some people have parked their cars and they're just letting them sit there. And if left alone, things don't remain the same. Oh, yes, I'm always going to move that illustration into the heart. You know what I've noticed? Same thing that happened to my mom's car is happening to some people's hearts. If left alone, your soul doesn't remain the same. It doesn't. What happens? Well, the rats get in. What's the rats? It's the world, it's life, it's all kinds of things. And I've noticed in my time with some really, really precious people, a deterioration of thinking. Yep, it happens. Oh, there's input coming in. And what do I mean by deterioration? Well, not thinking about godly things, not thinking about helpful things. I've noticed a weakened faith. The faith to trust God for things, the faith to have peace, the faith to rest, the faith to have courage for things in the future. You see, if left alone, things don't remain the same. They don't. Your car gets eaten alive by the rats, and your heart gets eaten alive by the enemy. I've noticed in some friends that I've been spending some time with, a deterioration of thinking that they've identified, a weakened faith. One dear, honest brother said, I just don't love people. Can you help me? Yeah. A diminished love for people happens when our soul gets left unchecked. I noticed a loss of power. I would maybe use the term passion, energy, ambition, vision. If left alone, things don't stay the same. They don't. Oh man, you can pay a lot of money for the damage that a rat can cause. Trust me, it's expensive, but worse for the heart, worse for the soul. Because we have a deteriorated thinking, a weakened faith. I've seen for some people diminished love for people, a loss of power. And here's one, a smaller circle. See, if left alone, what happens is we begin to pull in, and I think it's maybe a natural reaction of trying to gain control over our lives. So I just want to challenge you. A lesson that my mom and I learned from her car is don't leave it alone. Don't. The Toyota dealership and everybody else out there is telling us, man, they have replaced more wiring this year than any year that this service tech writer could remember. Why? Because if left alone, things don't remain the same. So I want to encourage you. You may get in a place where you just have to recognize I'm a little trapped or I'm a little stuck. Overcome that. Let's start moving together. I mean, with a lot of different people, and it is so good. They're moving, they're taking ownership, they're recognizing some bad things happened over the last 10 months. So let's continue to move on because we can reset today. I also had the privilege this week of having lunch with our longest current missionary. It's at 74 years. I believe there's a little debate. I'm going to stay with 74 years, celebrating this year 75 years with Doretta. And so we had lunch together, her and her sweet daughter, Sharon. And so we were just spending some time, and I asked her a question. I ask a lot of people, what are you praying for? What are the things that you pray for? And I was really struck. The normal things, her family, her precious kids and grandkids and all of that stuff. But then she told me, she said, I pray that God would keep me humble, that I would never allow pride to get in the way of responding to people. And I was kind of struck by that because I sense in her this incredible kind of amiable spirit, this willingness to see the good in things, the willingness no matter how much challenge. And she just moved here from Corpus Christi, and I think that's where she was, Texas, and she just moved here. That's a huge adjustment. It's a big adjustment to move anywhere when you're 16, let alone when I won't give her age away. But she was praying. And then she told me another prayer. And I love this one. It is so good. She says, God, would you make me better and not bitter? It's a huge prayer. And God has answered that prayer because she's not bitter at all. She's adjusted to things. She's open to the leading of God. Spending time with her was, well, kind of like sitting at the feet of a saint. In fact, I told her, I think I'm going to call you Saint Doretta. Didn't go over well. But I still might think of her that way. Sitting with her was just like a privilege. And I think a lot of it is just because of her prayer life. So it made me wonder, what are you praying for? What am I praying for? Not today, the things I pray every day. Carrie and I pray every night together. We pray for our kids. We pray for our grandkids. We pray for our church. We pray for people that are struggling with right now COVID. One of our dear brothers is in the hospital. One of our sisters, she had a surgery. And so we pray for those. But I was thinking, what are you praying for yourself? Do you pray the kind of prayers our sister Doretta teaches us? God, would you make me better and not bitter? I think the older we get, the more important that prayer is. God, would you keep me humble? Would you take pride and remove it so that I'm able to be taught by everyone, so that I'm open to your leading in any situation, so that I don't allow jealousy to kind of seep in and cause me to maybe relate to a person in my sphere at work or at home in, less than godly way. What are you praying for? Not just who are you praying for, but what are you praying for yourself? Doretta taught me some really important things. God, make me better, not bitter. God, take that pride that can seep into my heart. And so I just offer to you the incredible things that she affirmed in my heart. Make sure you're praying for great things because God listens. Well, I hope you have a great week, and maybe if you haven't driven your car in a little while, go out and take it around the block. But you might have to kick the rats out. I hope you catch it before we did, because it is kind of expensive, but if we can help you, what a great privilege. More importantly, don't let your heart sit stale. It doesn't stay the same. God bless you. I love you. Have a great week.